Hello, ladies. I just figured I'd do a quick recording instead of trying to type this all in an email for reviewing your project outline. Looks like your topic is to how to brush your pet's teeth, which is topic number 1. So the idea of this project is to, like it states up in the little thing here, the blurb, is this should be kind of a role-playing scenario. So typically, we would do this in an exam room where you would use the video recorders, and one of you would be the technician, one of you might be the client, and maybe a doctor or 2 technicians and a client. And so you'd kind of go through a role-playing incident. This would basically be, say, the veterinarian just came out and said, I would like you to go in and teach Mrs. So-and-so how to brush her pet's teeth. Or maybe this is a follow-up appointment from a dental cleaning and you want to show the pet person how to brush their pet's teeth. So use that as your basis, okay? When you do this, so the outline is just kind of getting all your ideas on paper. The pamphlet that you want to come up with is basically whatever you would hand out to give to that person to take home. So once you were done showing them how, this is basically the how-to brochure that's going to go home with them. So in that should be the steps of how to approach the animal, basic steps or approach, basic precautions, maybe your list of supplies that you need, and then you're listed out, basically like what you have down here, your actions of how to go through the steps of brushing your pet's teeth. And I would do it so it was for dog or cat. So maybe, the front side's dog and the back side's cat, or just kind of break it up into categories, however you want. So I think what you have here in your outline is actually more than you actually need, which is what most people do. They put a lot into it thinking I need to cover all the basics, but basically you are just covering how to brush the pet's teeth. So you don't have to talk about the dental grades and the estimates and all that stuff, because that's going to be another group's topic that they're going to talk about. Why should I pay so much for my animal's teeth being cleaned? Or they're going to talk about looking at resistant patients, all that. So you don't have to do, like I said, don't have to do the dental grading and estimates. You're basically just going to work through where it says tactics to deal right here with the fractious patient. So kind of somehow summarize that in your pamphlet, but you'll be embellishing on that in your actual video recording. And so you guys can do this through Zoom if you want, and just pretend that you're in the same room. So one person's still going to be the technician, one person's going to be the owner, or 2 owners and that, whatever. But make sure you all have a role and make sure you're all going to talk equally about something. So that's why it's almost better if 2 people are technicians and 1 person is the client. That way the 2 technicians can kind of take turns talking about the different topics. So down here, basically everything you have is pretty good for your 1 through 12 here. How to brush my cat's teeth, perfect. And then the FAQs, I like that. Where do you have to brush? Basically, when you're teaching clients, obviously it's great to do the insides of the teeth, but that's not where the focus is. Most people, 95% of people, cannot get inside the animal's mouth. So we're going to tell them, if you only have 2 seconds to get in the animal's mouth, where are you going to go with that toothbrush? And where you're going to tell them is on the buccal surfaces of the molars and premolars. If you can get 1 swipe or 2 swipes up and down on each side of the mouth, in those areas, that's where the bulk of tartar and plaque build up. So that's where we want them to focus on. Canines and incisors are great, but a lot of times you don't have time to get to them, and they don't accumulate as much plaque and tartar as the molars and premolars. It should only take a few seconds because most animals aren't going to let you keep doing it. But as the animals get more and more used to it, they may let you build up to the whole 2-minute total type thing. So that's a goal for the end. Key things to remember when you're approaching the animals and how should you start. They have to start slow, baby steps, super baby steps. It may be a week of just introducing toothpaste on your finger to the animal just to get them used to the taste. and then it might be then building it up from there. Things that you can use if they don't want to buy a toothbrush, they can use either a child's toothbrush, maybe they have an old one, maybe that was more affordable to them than a pet toothbrush. They can also use a washcloth. You just wrap it around their finger and use that. That's still an abrasive action. They can use gauze, like little gauze squares. They can buy them at the drugstore and they can wrap them around their finger and use those. So those are kind of easy, cheap solutions that sometimes people will be more inclined to try those first and see if their animal will tolerate the teeth brushing. And then if they do, they may end up purchasing the toothbrush later on with the toothpaste. Obviously, key things to make sure they know. The toothbrush, they must use a soft bristled toothbrush. So either a child's toothbrush or a very soft brush. They also need to make sure they're using pet toothpaste. Pet toothpaste specifically. You should know why. You might want to look that up. Why do we use pet toothpaste only? We don't want them using human toothpaste because of the toxicities of the fluoride if they ingest it. So kind of gave that one away, but look into that a little bit more so that you understand that. So those are some precautions. If their animal is scared, hiding, they obviously don't want to force them, so they're going to have to build them up to trusting them being near their mouth. Some people are not going to be able to do this, so they may not ever get there, and that's okay. So when they come in and they talk to us and say, well, I'm trying, we need to listen, we need to give them some tips to try, and we have to realize, like, we're not going to condone them or, yell at them for not being able to do it, because some animals just don't let them do it. How often should they brush their pet's teeth? Ideally, perfect medicine would be once a day. Okay? That's what we're going to offer for best medicine, but even better would just be as much as they can. If it's a couple times a week, that's great. That's better than none. And then how else can you help? Don't worry too much about the additives and oral health foods and everything like that. That's going to be another discussion for a different group. So you don't really need to do anything else with that. You can do a little small blurb about, there's other dental products available, and we can discuss that with you if you'd like. Or you can end your little spiel with the person like that. But you don't have to go into the chews and the foods and all that stuff right away. Otherwise, just make sure all your sites are put on the back of your pamphlet somewhere of where you took things from. What else do you have here? And so like these, why does the animal's breath smell? If you can incorporate them somewhere into your spiel, your talking. So not all of this stuff has to be in the flyer. So some of it keep as your script of what you're going to talk about in your video. Okay, so you can say, oh yeah, we're going to recommend brushing your teeth because A, it's best practice, and the more you brush the animal's teeth, the less likely they are to have to come in to have big dental procedures done. So, if we can get away with just once a year or every 2-year dental cleanings with you brushing at home every day, that's our goal, is to create healthy habits, to create healthy mouths. And you can go into a little spiel if you want on, why it's important to brush them so they're not ingesting bacteria, so they're not getting dental infections, and then the dental infections are going systemic, which then affects the liver and kidneys and blah, 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 which is basically what's written here. So, hopefully that helps. If you guys have more questions for me, feel free to email me, or we can set up a Zoom if you want to chat with me about that. All right, good job, guys.